and welcome to another episode of the Niche Girls podcast. I'm Kristen.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Yolanda.
Yay!
We did it.
We did it.
We did it,
My
guys.
plan was to wait this time. I was like, gonna let her go.
I love it.
Every week we get it just a little bit.
It's
little
fine.
bit,
Little bit
baby
more.
steps to it. So
Yeah.
yes, we are back this week with another exciting topic. We are going to be talking about a fifth Disney World theme park, and what we would like it to be, what we would like it to encompass, what
All of our dreams
all
and
of our-
aspirations.
yes, all of our
Really?
dreams, what we would do if it was up to us. But before we dive into that, how was your week, guys?
It's good. It's, nothing new, nothing special, no fanciness going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't parked
Yeah.
that much. I've worked a lot.
Yeah. What about you, Kristen?
Yeah, same. Just a lot of work, and my kids are out on summer break, so
break.
it's a lot of that balancing all of the things that you have to do for your job and for your hobbies and for
Yes.
your friends and for your children and for your house, and your kids. I've said this before. Your kids want to eat every day, and I don't.
You gotta
I
keep
just-
all the things alive, like how...
It's honestly the 3 meals a day trying to feed them for me. Like
It
that.
really is. And I mean, all the moms out there will agree with me. I'm sure they snack. They want to snack. And it's just the meals aren't even, it's bad enough I have to feed them 3 times a day, but then they want to snack. They want to, they always want juice. They always want milk.
Yeah.
So, we're just making our way through.
I love it.
So, yeah.
That's fun, though. I'm sure they're having a fun summer vacation. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys get to go to Disney, and that's just... It's great that you guys are annual pass holders. You have some fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
so.
And we have a pool. So, it's when all
Yeah.
else fails, I'm like, go swimming. Just go outside.
Go at the pool.
Want to put on your bathing suits?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
get your bathing suit on, and then I come out there with my laptop and my phone, and I'm doing what I need to do, and I'm watching.
At least
them.
that's good. That's helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So definitely,
That works.
definitely a plus of living down here is
Yeah.
the pools.
The aspect of the pool, at least.
Yeah.
The pools.
Thank God.
Yes. All right. So let's dive into it. 5th theme park in Walt Disney World right now. There's the 4: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. And Animal Kingdom is the newest theme park. It opened 25 years ago, so it's been a long time since
Yeah.
they've added another theme park. And they've teased a couple concepts throughout the years. They've teased a villains-themed theme park. They've teased expanding some of the other theme parks, maybe not adding a 5th gate, but expanding them. But
Yeah.
I mean, they have the land, right? They have it, but who knows what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it. What
I mean-
would we, Jessie, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Let's say they're going to do it. They're finally going to pull the trigger on that 5th gate.
Yeah.
What would you want to see?
I was just gonna say, Universal can do a Super Mario theme park. Disney should be able to add in a 5th. Just give the people what they want, give them more stuff, or even expand. That would be great. But for the 5th theme park, I was obsessed with the teaser that they did for a villains theme park. I think
Yes.
a villains theme park with villains-based coasters and, just you can meet all the villain characters, which are very rare. They're really not out and about very often.
No.
Even at the Halloween party, they have some villains, but you really only see them in the parades.
Yeah, or they have the
That's it.
Evil Queen is at Artist Point over there.
She
You
is.
could meet her, but you're right. You have to look for them if that's what you want. It's not just you
Yeah.
can go and expect to meet them at any part. You've got to
Right,
do your research and look and
Yeah.
find them.
I want to meet Oogie Boogie. I want to meet Lock, Shock, and Barrel. I want to
Ooh.
meet all of these. Yeah, right? The more rare characters that you just don't see, that exist out there, that you can't find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to walk into a villain park. And even if, I don't even care if there's a castle, but give me something villainous. Give me, I don't know, Maleficent as, the main topic.
You
Or
could do
I don't know.
her castle as the main thing.
Yeah,
Would be pretty,
her castle,
yeah.
dark and spooky, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And you can also have the family friendly, almost Halloween style, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald. You can put them in a Halloween style, or like we
Yeah.
said last episode, you can do, just those just nitpicky things from like the old school Disney, like with the Halloween shows and stuff. Like you can do like Huey, Dewey, Louie, like with their Halloween
That'd be
show.
so fun.
It would be so fun. Give me Witch Hazel.
Yes.
Um, yeah, like it would be great. So I just really want that spooky aspect. We just don't get enough of it on the regular basis.
Yeah.
And I crave the villains, and they make all this fun, villain merchandise, but give me a whole park based around that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like they had a villains night, like an after hours event a couple years ago too, and that was pretty
They
successful if I'm remembering it
They
correctly.
did, but it wasn't like insanely memorable.
Yeah.
It was just it was a very short after hours event. It didn't last very long, and they got rid of it rather
Yeah, it was
quickly.
just here for like a season. It wasn't something
Yeah.
that was around
It
for a
was,
long
and
time.
even you know how the new like the DVC lounge at Top of the World is themed villains. So what
Yeah.
I've found with Disney when they do villains is they always focus on like the same five, right? They always
Same
give
five.
us Maleficent, Hades, Ursula,
Cruella Deville.
Cruella.
Cruella, and I'm trying to I can't
Oogie
even think
Boogie?
of another one. Oogie Boogie, yes, and sometimes
Sorta.
the
Disneyland
card
gets
guy
one
from
more, yeah.
Princess Tiana is the newer one that they normally use, the voodoo guy
Dr.
from
Facilier.
Dr.
Facilier.
Facilier. So, which I'm a New Orleans girly, so I love it. But there's so many. I mean, look at all the movies. There's so many iconic villains. First of all, Scar and Jafar, right? Iconic. Like, there is
Yeah.
so many amazing villains, and they just use Hades and Ursula and so much that it's like, I think that's partially why maybe they just Villains Night just kind of felt lackluster. Could have been more just because we've seen those villains represented already. We've seen that stuff, and we weren't really brought anything new, right? Whereas like if they had to really kind of dig deep and brought us more like Mother Gothel, brought us like just oh my god, I can think of so many.
Yeah.
I'm,
There's a
I'm- I
lot.
just I love villains, you know. So also it would be very interesting in terms of the kid one, the Frozen, the guy from Frozen who you weren't expecting to be a villain, and then he was
Yeah.
a villain. Are you kidding me?
Hans.
Hans, yeah, that okay, because I don't know, kids love Frozen.
Yeah.
Just
I would also love Yzma to be more, to be more up and around. And could you imagine like an Emperor's New Groove ride with Yzma being like, pull the lever, Kronk, and you like drop and go down a little roller coaster? Like
Syndrome
that would be so
for the
much fun. You
Incredibles
can
area.
base so many villains around so many different rides. Like they
Yeah.
can have their own
You would
thing.
really have like fun lands too within
Oh,
a
the guy from
villain's
Toy
land.
Story,
Yeah.
Sid,
Sid.
Syndrome.
Ugh, Sid.
We're
A
just
Sid land would
missing
be
so many.
yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
A
Like
Sid.
just,
Could you imagine a Sid ride?
it
Like
would be
all
horrifying.
you could ride in all the different like things that he makes, almost like an alien swirling saucer, but like the different
Yeah.
toys that he
Kind of
creates.
Frankenstein creations that he's made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
The
be
villain
fun
from
to
Baymax
have.
is also really spooky. That one would be really good.
Which one?
The villain that's in the Baymax movie.
Oh yes, I don't remember his
I don't
name.
I don't remember
that
his
one
name
I don't
either,
remember.
Yeah.
but people love Baymax, and it's
Yes.
a way to bring that more into the park. So I just like,
No.
there's just so much you could do. And
Yeah, you could
we
have
just
like a Halloween land within like your villain's theme park. You know, like you could really break it down
Amazing.
to all sorts of different.
Almost like a Toontown, but like it'll be like the kid Halloween version.
Yes.
Or like a little baby villains. Like they have like the Vampirina.
Yeah.
Like she could be considered
Vampirina!
yeah. Like they could have a little play area like that of like little kid villains or
Because every
Mickey
park
dressed
has a
up in
play
something
area.
spooky.
You're right.
Or,
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they've teased that. I mean, since I was young, I know the rumor has been like, "Oh, that's what the next one would be. That's what the next one would be." But they just have never
Yeah,
pulled the
but-
trigger on it, and
No.
I don't know why. I mean, it would. I don't want to say solve, but it would kind of. You could have a lot of the abandoned concepts. I think for things that we'll talk about more would fit within that, like maybe with a little retheme or a little
Yeah.
tweak. But you
Yeah.
could fit them. You can always make that work. Like Beastly Kingdom, just for example, they
Yeah.
had that. There was supposed to be a ride with like a dragon in it. So you could take that concept
That
and
would
make it
fit.
for Maleficent being the dragon, and boom, now
Right.
you have like this roller coaster. Like, so you can kind of recycle those old concepts that
Yeah.
were greenlit but just never came to fruition for whatever reason, money or time or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would answer a lot of I don't, again,
A
not
lot of
issues,
issues.
but a lot of requests, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
requests.
I also think, like, I feel like it would also lighten Magic Kingdom almost, because Magic Kingdom is so iconic and it does have so many of those characters. That's really one of the other places that you can see the villains, like, for certain
Yeah.
events. So I feel like that would kind of lessen from Magic Kingdom, so maybe it wouldn't be so busy. You'd have a little more room to wiggle.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
it's
But
possible.
yes, I would love that. I would love that. I just want to hug Oogie Boogie, and I can't. So,
I know it's upsetting for many reasons.
yeah.
Yeah, I
All right,
hope that they
Yolanda.
do wind up doing something with that eventually.
Yeah.
I've been to the
Yeah.
Yolanda, you were talking about the top of the world, the villains bar. I've
Yeah.
been there, and
Same
It's
villain.
all right.
I was there when it first came back after the pandemic.
too.
So it's like a year or so ago now. I don't know what changes they've made to it, but I just remember thinking like there was so much more that they could have done with it. Like the
Yeah,
drinks,
especially from food and beverage standpoint.
yeah, the food and the beverage were on point theming wise, but like there was no, like there was just a lot
Interior.
more they could have done, you know, like
Yes.
design wise and character wise. There was a
They
lot
basically
more.
they came out with like a specialty menu. They gave out like different Hades and Ursula headbands, and then
Yes.
they had their kind of like they had left things in the room. They had left
Yeah.
items behind.
Right.
Was
So
the
you
premise,
could
but
dress up as the characters, but like I don't want to do that. I want to like see them. I want to have that
Yeah,
no.
interaction.
I want more. Yeah, I want more of the entertainment aspect.
You
Like,
want to sit in
I'm,
Ursula's lair with the
I'm
eels. You want to, like you just want to do more. Like
yes.
Wait, this has literally nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it does kind of a tiny bit. You know what I really want is I want, again, this has nothing really to do with it, but I think we'll all agree that we want this. I want a haunted mansion themed restaurant in the Magic
Yeah.
Kingdom. So like if you're not going to give me that in the Magic Kingdom, then like put it somewhere. But like that's what I'm talking about. Like I want that level of interaction and theming.
I want theming with restaurants. Like I think they did an amazing job with the Woody, like the Toy Story Roundup restaurant. That's the kind of theming I would like to see continued
Same.
from Disney.
Yeah.
It's very funny because while we're on this topic, if you go online, there is a lot of articles on the Marriottification of Disney hotels at the moment. And as someone who works for Marriott, it's very true. It's the bringing in blue, gray, and tan tones to make it modern, but to also make it more approachable to all. The thing is, why Disney doesn't have to renovate their hotels like as often and why it's so appealing is because of the overly done
Yes.
theming. It can't really go out of style or be outgrown to where you have to renovate every 8 years if the theming is the theming. And like
Right.
that's what I want to see from the restaurants. I don't always want like a Victoria and Albert's experience, a steakhouse. I want to feel like I'm in the movie. Put me in. Put me in. Put
Which
me,
is
and that's
why-
why, like, for instance, right, the Beast Castle food isn't great.
No.
However, people go back because the experience is so cool.
Yes.
the theming, yeah, and that's the thing. Like with
And a
Artist
haunted
Point,
mansion, a
like,
villain's restaurant could be like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Could be
Artist
that
Point's
cool.
the same way. The theming is great. You have a villain. You
A
have
Queen
the
of
nice
Hearts
guys.
restaurant? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
A Queen of Hearts rest? You know how?
In Disneyland Paris, they have a Queen of Hearts like Alice in Wonderland maze.
It's so fun.
like
It's so
topiary
good.
kind of maze, and it's again
It's really
we
cute.
could
A lot
easily
of
do
these
these things here. We just don't, and I don't know why. On that topic that Yolanda was saying, again, nothing to really honestly do with this topic, but I'm gonna
It
stand by
does.
my
Might as well
statement.
rope it in. I mean, it does. It's things we could put in a fifth park.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I don't like the way creations, that's what they've done to it. They turned Mouse
Modern.
Gear into this like not whimsical, almost
get me
like a
started about-
JC Penney of the
upsetting.
future vibe. And it's, first of all, it smells like dirty diapers in
You're in
there.
hospital.
It's gross, especially first thing in the morning. If you're in there, just don't breathe because it's gross. And it's just, they're going to need to redo that in probably another 10 years because it's going to look so dated because it doesn't look magical. It doesn't look Disney. It looks like a Macy's that
Yep,
like
it does.
of the future, and I don't like it, and I will die on that hill. And
No, I
No,
agree.
it's literally a Macy's.
Yeah.
Like
As I said,
that's
the
what it
reason
looks
that
like.
a lot of their areas have not needed to be renovated is because of the over-the-top
Yes.
theming. And the problem with renovation isn't just money. For Disney, it's the opposite. Because with hotels I've worked for in the past, it's always your investors. But with Disney,
Yeah.
it's you'd have to close that area to renovate it. And a lot of the time, they just can't use. They can't.
yeah, they can't
use
afford
that
to
real
miss out
estate
on that
and-
that income from that.
Nope.
But I think a
And
villain's theme park and
there's so
area
much we could
would
do.
allow for that super over theming that would then last for a really long time.
And that's the thing. Like, I want the theming. I want the entertainment. Like, that's what I'm craving. And I don't want just a theme park that I can just go to and ride rides. And just like Yolanda was saying, like, she's not a huge ride person. And not everybody
Yeah.
is. I could literally go into a theme park and I can pin trade and talk to the cast members and eat food all day. I don't have to ride a single ride,
Yeah.
and it could be the best day
Yeah,
ever.
same.
So give me that theming, give me a villains theme show, give me a haunted mansion restaurant, something that I can just relax in and be able to be in awe while I'm doing it.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
agree.
That would be great. Yeah.
Or-
All right, Yolanda, what about you? What would you want for a theme park, for a fifth theme park?
Okay, so a couple different things, and I can't come up with a name or like a villains area for me.
Yeah.
It's two different things that actually contrast each other. So first I'll say is I want more original rides that are not IP, which is intellectual property. So from based on a movie that Disney has come out with. So for instance, Haunted Mansion originally was one. Pirates originally was one. The movie was based off the ride, and then they added Jack Sparrow details. Just a lot of my favorite rides are Thunder Mountain. There's so many rides that are not based off of movies at all.
Yeah, Everest.
Unfortunately, the last one came out with Everest. And if you actually take the time to learn about the Everest and Asia area in Animal Kingdom, it has an insane backstory. The backstory they built throughout Asia in is so good. It's like one family owns the entire area. That's why you see all the Anand Dupar. It's so cool. And I think that we need more of that because like one thing that was very cool when MGM first opened or Hollywood Studios is that it was so different from the other parks. It was all
So
just based on
different.
the movies, but no specific movies, right? Just the magic of,
Right,
of
behind
Hollywood.
the scenes of the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
behind the scenes. So I would love to see more original ideas that we can base movies off of. Can I tell you what those ideas are? No. So on the flip side of that, is I would like to see a couple IP rides that I just have not seen represented. So I mentioned Merida in the last podcast. I'm a huge Brave fan. There is no Brave stuff other than a meet and greet, and that's such a good movie. So that and Encanto, which just came out, so good. You have Soul. There is so many new
Yeah.
movies
Love
that
Soul.
could be represented. And while I don't think we should throw all of our focus into some of these, I have wanted a Pocahontas river ride since I was a child.
I
Like
know.
I can
Animal
remember
Kingdom,
being
like
I can remember
stuff.
being in Animal Kingdom and being like, I want to like ride just around the river bend. And then this is not ride stuff, but if they ever do open a fifth park, and I am praying that Universal has learned this lesson, I am really crossing my fingers that it is really accessible. So if they do build a Pocahontas just around the river band ride, I would love for the seats not to be you have to step down, and if you're old, you have a really hard time getting up. And I would love for there to be more than one wheelchair boat, and like maybe a couple, so that the wheelchair people don't have to wait 3 hours. But that's
Yeah.
just me. Also, a lot more warnings on what exactly the ride line will entail in terms of strobe lights and stuff would be great. But that's different. But I would love that. And then the third thing I would love to see from a park is just very enhanced food and beverage. And I understand that there is limits in terms of what they can produce in mass quantities. But what I mean by enhanced food and beverage is not just chicken tenders, hot dogs, burgers. I mean more quick service options that are meals that families can eat and feel like they've eaten a meal that are not just we have to get this at a sit down. More pastas, more rice bowls, more soup bowls, more, just give people options for like a hearty meal that's not fried. And I think that I would love to see, and they're so easy to theme. So I just my needs could go very well with Jessie's villain needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like you can build non-IP stuff, non-intellectual property stuff in a villain's park.
Right.
So I would be willing to get on board with the villain's park. There's just things that I would like to see from it too.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a lot of characters that are underrepresented. I would also love, in terms of like my craft and being hands-on, would love a new entertainment show. We have not had really a new standalone show other than Frozen Sing Along for a minute. And I would love a new full stage production show, which kind of goes with Kristen's, what she would
Which
like
is,
to see.
I mean, which is kind of why, like, I'm really excited about the Jollywood Nights, like we talked in our last episode, because they are giving us a couple of those new shows, new Tower of Terror experiences. Like,
Give me
they're
more.
giving us a little more, which I'm really, really excited about. But again, like, I want that in my daily
Yeah.
park adventures.
I don't want it
Yes.
behind a paywall.
Right. I want to be able to go to the park as an annual pass holder with my annual pass holder price and get a fun new entertainment show. Like as much as Indiana Jones, like everyone loves Indiana Jones, but like
Right.
needs to be updated or something. Like
Love it, but I've
it's
seen
so
it.
old.
And
Yeah.
I know based on what we see from these D23 conferences, I know that Disney has the technology, and I
Oh yeah.
know that like you know what I
Come
mean. Like
on.
I know that these things exist, but even like for Tron in terms of ride vehicles, like how they made that mistake at first, and there wasn't enough accessible ride vehicles because Americans are different sizes than where Tron is based. So
Right.
I just would love to see so much more and parks built in smart ways is
Yeah.
my thing. And that may just come from me working in operations my whole life. But yes, I would love to see parks being built in smart ways. And I think Volcano Bay is one of the best examples of a park that's built in a smart way. And I know the technology exists, and I would love to see
I
Disney kind of
think
move forward like
too with
that.
like what Yolanda's saying is like we've seen footage of what goes on in the Asian parks and the way that they're laid out and their ride
I mean,
systems. Like they have that Beauty and the Beast ride over
I
in
was going to bring that up. That Beauty and the Beast
like
ride is
they
insane.
have the technology to do it. It's I mean again like Tokyo Disney's not owned by Disney. It's Oriental Land Company and they like
Yeah.
basically
Yes,
franchise
but
and buy the rights to these things.
okay,
But
but in Shanghai, their haunted mansion is it. The storyline's amazing. It's an IP. Again, I mean, it's not an IP. It's based off like you're following this monkey through haunted
yes,
mansion, but you are on a ride vehicle
Mystic
very
Manor.
similar to Remy, very similar to Remy. Like you are, and you don't know where you're gonna go, so it allows for a lot more surprise.
Yeah.
And every time you ride, it's gonna be different. And
I
we
love
just
that.
we don't have enough of that here. Also, less 3D rides. Some
Please.
of their newer rides are very like the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
Amazing that you can drive it and stuff like that. Ugh, so screeny.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
just
even Remy's, like, me and Kristen went on Remy's recently, and
much green.
I was like, Kristen, I can't. I'm gonna sit with you. I'm gonna go on the ride, but like, I can't watch half of this. So I'm literally
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
like, the whole time.
Like, give me more track. Give me more. And again, I think every
Yeah.
park. I think it with the new park too. Like Jesse said, a roller coaster of some kind because some people do want those larger thrills.
Yeah, I mean,
So
just one or two. I don't need a whole lot of them, and it doesn't have to be like Rock
yeah,
and Roller Coaster where it's all loopty floopty,
of course,
whatever. Like,
man.
give me something fun like Slinky Dog. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be family friendly is totally
Hmm.
fine. It doesn't have to be crazy thrilly.
Oh my
Just a
God.
little.
More
Yeah.
shade.
More
If
shade.
they build a fifth park and we
Trees.
haven't learned
Yeah.
to plant so many trees, I don't know what to
Oh,
do.
I
I don't know.
know.
I can't. So I
Please.
can't make Disney think of it.
More shade.
I
Okay,
feel
if you're
like,
listening,
yeah, I would really like the one thing that I think Universal does really well is that you can fill up your refillable mugs in the parks there. And then in some areas
Yes.
they have, no, I haven't been to Universal in a hot minute, Jesse, you could probably speak to this better, but what I remember is they
Yeah.
have like an indoor area where you can go and they have the Coke freestyle machines and then like a little bit
yeah,
of like a
yeah.
seating area so you get like a little bit of a respite from the heat and you could fill up your mug and like just take a beat, right? So I don't know
Absolutely.
why we can't do that here. I don't.
And the Harry Potter restaurant there has actual food. They have mashed potatoes. They have
Yes.
roasted chicken. Not that's so. Yes,
They
Universal
have
does it.
Alfredo pasta.
Things that aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, because unless you're getting, I
Yeah.
mean, your option at Magic Kingdom, right, for quick serve, like
Well, Magic
it's
Kingdom needs
Pecos.
more
What are
like
they?
table service restaurants that are not $1 million too. I've said that
Right.
forever. Like
They do.
it's
They
like
do.
you can either spend $250 on dinner or you get chicken nuggets. Like there's no in between. There's
There's
the
no in
Plaza
between, and
restaurant,
I
and that's
think
like literally the only in between there. And
Yeah.
I think in building their fifth park, they could really take advantage of having elevated food. And as I've said, we've grown, so much originally since they've learned a lot. They've learned a lot of how to operate quick service and how to
Yeah.
minimize the steps, how to minimize the motions. And I think with technology where we are in terms of food service, there's so many products that are already frozen or ready made that
yeah.
won't take a lot of prep that are still hearty meals. And I would love
Agreed.
to see that. So,
I know.
Kristen,
Okay, so mine is kind of like twofold. So I would love a
mine was
park.
pretty simple.
Yeah, there's like I have a wish list. So I
Yeah.
would love a park where we could kind of see a lot of the concepts that were scrapped come to life. So like I was saying before with Jessie and the villains thing, like the original Beastly Kingdom concept of having this like roller coaster where you're like don't want to wake up the dragon, like something like I'd love to actually
Yeah.
like that was greenlit, that was a go. And then last minute
Yeah.
budget constraints, they could only do Dino Land or Beastly Kingdom. They chose Dino Land. Like so I would love to kind of take those concepts that made it through to that process and were almost built but then were scrapped. I'd love for them to find a home somewhere. So whether
Yeah.
it's
That would be
So
cool.
many. So
there's
that's
so many
yeah.
and again like We were supposed to get a theater in the Magic Kingdom a couple years ago. Like they
Yes,
laid
it
the
was supposed to come
foundation
with a
for
new
it, and then
show.
last minute they were like, "Nope, sorry, not doing that."
Hmm.
So I would love a place for all of those concepts to go. The theme, and I wouldn't want it to feel like a mishmash either, because my complaint right now with Hollywood Studios is that it feels like a little bit
It's a
of a
mishmash.
mishmash. So I would love
It is.
almost like a California adventure counterpart on this
Yeah.
coast.
I was gonna say that, but I
Me
didn't want to
too.
because I stay talking about Disneyland. So I didn't want to bring that up, but I was gonna use California Adventure as an
Yeah,
example.
No, it really is an example because it's like they do have so many different aspects at DCA
but it
that like it's
works.
incredible. Like
But
it
it
works.
somehow
It
blends.
somehow
It blends
works.
in,
You
Yeah.
and it
have
even they
Avengers.
even found a way to tie in the new San Francisco area, the car area. It blends so
Yeah.
well together.
Yeah.
Under that umbrella of like California. And what it, honestly, let's think about this for a minute. What does it, California mean? It's like it could exactly. So like
We
you
could make a Florida
Absolutely.
could
one,
you
and you could
yeah.
have a lot of fun. And then you could have in Beastly Kingdom, Florida. It would make sense as a Florida park because you alligators, and
Alligators.
then
Swamps.
villains, Florida man. Okay,
Yeah.
so we could tie that in too, Jesse. Don't worry, I still got
Making me
you.
cough.
Florida
I
man.
feel like
Give me
Okay,
some palm trees, some orange
there I
trees.
think there would just be a
orange
way to do like a counterpart to California Adventure here, and
Yeah.
then make
Encanto,
Hollywood Studios the
Florida.
movies, and then instead of shoehorning concepts where I don't feel like they belong, Guardians of the Galaxy and Epcot, I said it, sorry,
Hmm.
doesn't belong.
I don't necessarily think it belongs. I know they went off the space thing, but
Yeah,
I don't think it
yeah.
belongs.
It was
No.
supposed to be like a
I
Big
don't.
Bang roller coaster, and then they were like, oh, here's an opportunity to wedge an IP in that doesn't really fit. So it
Yeah.
No.
doesn't, so instead of shoehorning these concepts into parks that it doesn't make sense, do something like a California
You
Adventure.
mean like shoving Moana at the front of Epcot too, because that belongs in Animal Kingdom?
Thank you.
Like what? Why are you gonna put Moana meet and greet
It
Animal
doesn't
Kingdom
make
and
sense.
then
No.
put what?
It
It doesn't
doesn't
make any
make it.
sense.
I
Epcot.
mean, these are the conversations that I have all the time, either with myself or with, somebody in my life that understands Disney.
But as a Florida concept, it could make
It
sense. So
could,
that's the thing, like having a Florida adventure, which
or
is
just
Yeah.
like
California
any
adventure, but
sort of
here.
like Disney's something adventure. It doesn't need to be Florida. Like the California concept works
Yeah.
because I
These
think,
magical journeys or something, like I don't know.
yeah. But you could create a kind of
Like,
catch-all park is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then even if you did a
you
Absolutely.
catch-all
could.
park, you could have a villain's land within that catch-all park and execute
Absolutely.
some of
And
these concepts. And then again, it wouldn't feel so
Yeah.
shoehorned to have like these things that are
A
going
random
places that it doesn't
movie.
really feel like it should be there.
yeah.
And then you're like, what
Yeah.
is this? Why are we getting rid of these?
I mean, even I don't know if it got canceled, but I was really excited about the Mary Poppins edition to England, and we just never got it. So
Never
it,
got
there's
it.
there's been so many projects that it's really actually interesting if you research it. But there's just so many things that they scrap, like Guardians with the ships taken off in the sky, and so like, I'm not Guardians, the two
Yeah.
Star Wars Land.
Yeah. I mean, Batu
Yeah.
was supposed to have like the droids rolling around like everywhere, and like you were supposed to be able to
That
interact
would've
with
been
them. Now, I
cool.
did see something the other day on Instagram, and I don't remember the account. Otherwise, I would send you all there to go look at it. If I think of it, I'll try to tag them in stories. But they did have like an R2D2 start to kind of roam around Galaxy's Edge, of course, in
Okay.
Disneyland because
Of course.
Oh,
they get everything
gotta love
and we
that.
get nothing. But that's another topic
I
for
know.
Yes.
another day as well. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's I think there's just so many.
It would be really cool to include things like that. I'm wondering actually, like one thing I understand the Star Cruiser was definitely an experiment for them, but I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do with that land now because it was attached to the back of studios. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that maybe we'll get some expansion there, whether or not it's Star Wars expansion, or if they're just going to use this building for something else. It doesn't have enough rooms to be a normal hotel, and none of the rooms have balconies. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll make that space into something fun, and if we can't get another park, that we will expand studios since it is right behind it. But I'm interested for sure to see where that goes. But it seems like a lot of the money that they put into Star Cruiser could have been put into enhancing or adding another area to another park and making, I mean, just making it something for everyone to enjoy.
I think
That's
yeah,
So
the thing.
I agree with you. I don't know what they're gonna do with with that situation, and I feel like that is kind of more
But they were
imminent.
able to open that like so quickly, and that was so much theming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much
I
theming,
mean,
and
literally, they started building it post-COVID.
yeah, and
So,
it's almost like another theme park, but it's inside a hotel.
so
Like,
it
just
popped
put
up
that
in two
effort.
years, but it's been 25 years since your last actual park. Like it
Yeah. And they have so much land. I mean, like I said, even if it's just an expansion and they give us a new land, like that would be
give us a
amazing.
whole
Like,
new land, an entirely new land,
if you
please.
want to give me a new park, by all means, that would be fantastic. But
I
like,
mean, I would always love like some countries added to
I was
Epcot
literally
too,
just
but
gonna say
yeah,
that. Like, at this point, I
yeah,
will settle for like some new countries in Epcot, but not even, okay, fine. You don't want to give me a new country? Just expand don't, they have, I forget how many pads they
build
have.
rides throughout the pavilion.
Expand the countries that you have then. If you don't want to add any more countries, expand what you have. Like, you have that
yeah,
area next to Germany that's the trains. Like, give us that Rhine River cruise that you scrapped back in
yep,
1982.
Would
do
do
it.
Like,
anything.
give us the Mary Poppins ride. Like, there, honestly, in my opinion, there's no reason that each country should not have an attraction. There's not.
Yeah,
And it
Yeah.
doesn't
even
need
a
to
little
be like a
attraction.
banger, like amazing
Just
No,
need
Guardians
more.
attraction.
A teacup, something, something for kids. Yeah,
Give me
something.
a Grand Fiesta style boat tour in every one of those countries, and I will be
Mhm.
beyond happy. Like,
thrilled.
just put a little
Just
Yeah,
boat ride,
like
put a little dark ride, something. Just my kids like Epcot because they like the scavenger hunts and they like the kids. But how many times have we all heard like, "Oh, don't go to Epcot. It's not for kids. It's not for kids."
so much.
And I don't agree with that, but I can see how people that are not informed do say that.
So I
yeah,
don't agree that it's not for kids, but I actually see how it's not for teenagers. And that if your teenager likes thrills, let me preface that. I understand why Universal and Islands are the teenage parks. Why you go there in high school, why you go there when you're 18, because honestly, you can't drink yet. You're not young enough to enjoy those little scavenger
Yeah.
hunts, right? You want to ride rides when you're 15, 16,
yeah,
and the Epcot rides, when you're 15 and 16, you don't really want to go through a museum
Yeah, you
ride,
have Guardians
and
and
you
you
don't
have
really
maybe
want to
Test
look at
Track there, which would appeal
you
to you,
don't
and
really
that's
want
that.
to look at plants like at
yeah.
16. I'm almost 30 now. I think I enjoy clear. Right, I love a plant now. I'm about to be in my 30, love a plant. But like at 16, no, I didn't want to go look at a plant on a ride. I still loved Epcot, but at the time, I wasn't a living with the
Oh
land
no, I've
stan.
always been
Like
living
Yeah.
with the land.
I was not. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
But I also had that gap in going to the parks. But yeah, none of those were like what I wanted to. Or give me a show with explosions. That's why I loved when I was in the college program. I loved my lights, motors, action. I thought it was so cool.
Oh, it was fun.
I never liked that one.
But
I
yeah,
thought
I
it was so
just
dumb.
okay. Even the
Really, I thought it was
backlot tour
fun.
had an explosion
Yeah,
though and water.
that Catastrophe Canyon was the coolest thing.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So even that had something exciting. But if you're like a 15, 16-year-old going to Epcot, you're kind of just like,
Meh.
we can take selfies in each country.
Yeah,
Like,
I was a nerd, so I always
we're
liked going to
broke when you're
Epcot,
16.
but
You don't have
like,
money to spend unless your parents
I
give it.
see it.
You can't buy the
Yeah.
food in every country.
See,
Like,
yeah, I agree with you. I was not an Epcot person until I got older. We never really went there when I was a kid. Like,
yeah.
a couple of times, but it was mostly Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. Like, those are our go-to. And then Animal Kingdom was our half-day park. Like,
If you're
that's
not gonna give us a new park, enhance these parks.
Yeah.
They used to. I mean,
yeah,
like, there's so much room behind Animal Kingdom.
I know.
So much room. Like,
So
we
much
don't
room.
need to take down Dino Land to add Zootopia. Like, just add Zootopia.
add
I
it.
think that's
Just add it.
the thing that
Just-
irritates me is they're like, well, we're gonna get rid of this to give you this. Just give us that thing and keep the old
I mean,
thing. Like they're not
Like,
Right.
mutually
Animal Kingdom is
exclusive.
not big enough to take away an area for months and months and months. Like, don't do that.
Just give us the thing.
No.
So,
Have both things.
but again, they could give us this thing in a fifth park, and that would also disperse so many crowds because even if so, let's say they expanded studios, right? There is not room for more people to get through the small walkways they have built in
No.
studios to get to those lands. We need
No.
another park.
Yeah. You have to, like,
Fine.
zigzag already.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot.
No,
Hollywood
I mean,
Studios
granted, that's because
feels-
some people feel like they need to walk like
Yeah.
that.
Hollywood
With all
Studios,
of
the
their
way it's
people
laid
in
out
a row.
now too, where like Pixar Place is like here, and then you have to go
bottlenecks.
around, and it's like just this little jettison, and that it feels
Toy
so
Story Land.
disjointed to me.
It is, and you can't walk through it. You have to walk like these. I mean, same thing with
Yeah.
Epcot. Right now, you can't walk straight.
Oh,
But
don't even get me started.
Unfortunately.
yeah, but so yeah, we could really see so much improvement with a fifth park. Obviously, in terms of crowd control technology that's being brought over and like food, but
And at the end
I
of
would
the
love to see
day, not to cut you off, Yo, but they are honestly going to have to consider it because Universal Studios is opening Epic Universe in
opening a
what,
third
a
one.
year, 2 years? And that's going to have,
Not only are they opening Epic Universe, they're opening the Minions area, and like they are adding stuff. They are adding new food and
yeah.
quick. Like
I will say I am upset they took away my Monsters Cafe though because I loved the Monsters Cafe.
But they're going to
So,
have a whole monsters, right? Like Universal monsters kind of theming in the
yes.
new area. So
Thank God.
hopefully some of that will like move over there.
Translate. That's what I'm hoping because I live for the monster stuff over
Yeah.
there. It's amazing. I love Minions. I am very excited. I will be there on opening day. Don't you
Yes, we know.
worry.
it does make me like sad when I go to Universal. There is so, and this is something that they could do with the fifth park. There's so much entertainment if you go
Yeah.
to Universal Studios.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Through the streets, there's a
Everywhere.
Vamos dance party, a Mel's Dine-In dance party. There's the Blues Brothers singing. They have a group of girls that sing. Then there's a singing and
Beatboxers.
storytelling show that happens in Diagon Alley. Like there is so much to watch if you do not want to be stuck in a ride line.
Oh my
And
God,
Disney
yes.
has so many stories to tell,
Yeah.
Yep.
and like so much magic to share. And Orlando has so much talent. So I just we could really see so much.
And they're going to
in the
have to
fifth
take a
park.
lesson from Universal in that area too because
They might have
they're-
to suck it up and do
I
it.
mean, Universal is taking, as much as I hate to admit it, a big share. We have friends that from up north that come down and they just go to Universal. They don't even come to Disney right now. Their kids are at that
Yeah.
age, or so they're gonna have to kind of.
Their water park is better. Their fast pass pricing is better because you get every ride.
It's very expensive
they're
over there though,
just-
but it's
It
a
is
different
very
type
expensive.
of
but it's
thing,
very
but
worth it. I've done
yeah.
it. I've done it, and it's insanely worth it. It's
Yeah.
I rode every single ride in both parks in
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
Did I eat food? No. And when I say did I ride all the rides, I meant that David rode all the rides and I rode some
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't eat food every single ride. The kids' rides, everything. Like that fast pass allowed Harry Potter, the Hagrid's, all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
it.
So I mean,
It's $150, but you don't have to sit on your phone and do. That's a whole nother episode again. Genie versus Disney's
Yeah. Whole thing.
system. I mean, Universal's, but I agree. I think that Disney might have to be like, you know what, Universal, we're suck up our pride and take a page out of your
Yeah.
book. I mean,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know when the next is there a D23 coming up next year? I think so.
There
Probably.
should be, and then I believe that Epic Universe is set to open in 2025
Yeah.
now. So we'll definitely, I mean, as people who are in the park so much, we will be able to see if things kind of take a dip.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they will at first.
I think so.
It's going to take a chunk of the business for a
Yeah.
minute.
I think so. And it'll just be interesting to see if we, at the next D23, get any information. Because the past two, I've kind of felt that they're like, kind of all they really do are like, what if we did this? And then they just don't ever do any
There
of it.
wasn't a lot concrete. They said a lot of ideas to get people excited, and there was nothing, this is
Yeah,
coming.
no.
Yeah.
And we still haven't gotten Figment. They're like, hey, you guys are going to get to meet Figment.
Still waiting.
Where? When? Who?
Summer.
Hatbox Ghost who? And then the Hatbox Ghost thing.
Yeah, weren't we supposed to
We're
get
gonna
him for
have
the
a thousand
50th? And then they didn't do that. And then they're like, oh no, he's coming. He's really coming. He's coming here. He's coming here. He's definitely coming. Is he?
Okay, they did, but
Yeah.
then we're going to have 1,000 ghosts.
I know. That's fine.
What haunt are they removing? Hopefully those little things that pop up from behind the gravestone. Take out
Take
one.
rid of them.
Give me anxiety, but I hate them. I'll think I'm ready, and then. So,
There they are.
yes.
Boom.
A lot of empty promises from D20.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every year. So.
Yep.
Great.
Well, I hope you
Awesome.
guys enjoyed this episode. We will put a poll in
Yeah.
stories and we will get your ideas for a fifth park. And again, maybe that'll
Yes,
inspire
please.
some new designs like Beasley
Yes.
Kingdom or something fun like that. And
Yeah.
Or if you have any park names too, please. I'd love to hear
I
them.
would
I think
love
that would
to
be
hear
so
your park
fun.
yes,
names.
all right. So we'll do two. We'll put
That'd be
we'll put
cool.
a park names poll in stories in the Niche Collective Instagram page.
That'd
That's
be cool.
the.niche.collective, and head over there on Instagram. Go to our stories. Take all our little fun polls. Give us a little like.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would love that. So Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We love all of your support. We love hearing all your comments. And every time you guys message us on our Instagram page saying that you want to be friends with us, or you're like, oh, you guys are so, we love you. We're always up for new friends. So
if you see us in the parks, by all means, like, please stop us.
yeah,
We're always at the
come
parks.
say hi. And we always
Yeah.
love Disney friends. So we
Yeah,
love
thank
it.
you.
So we will see you next week.
Thank you for listening. Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Have a
you so
good
much
week,
for listening.
everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.